Hello, Carl here. The following clip is a cut from a coaching session I did recently. It is a analysis of a Zoro replay game that we looked at. I wanted to give a little warning that his voice is very quiet at times, and so I put what he says in the subtitles when it is necessary. That said, enjoy. I think quite obviously you keep this, right? He just go first. He got the Mihawk, so you kind of need to turn off on plays, right? I think at the start here, you would probably take Shiryu. Burgess will just get rested. Shiryu can maybe KO something. Yeah, and you do go for that, so that's good. This is, I think, a mistake that you make. So we have 3 vortexes in the deck, so it's fine if we lose one, but early on we don't need the vortexes, not even one. So when we have a 1 in hand, it's plenty to just keep it there. And if we grab another one here, we're most likely just gonna trash it as a brick at some point, or keep it as a brick and, you know, have a bricked hand.
I think that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, I think exactly. And so you would much rather have that vortex in your deck so you can grab it again later when you actually need it. Early on, you kind of want the vortexes back in your deck, and then kind of find them towards the end when you kind of need one per turn.
In that sense, if I grab the teach, would you just pitch the teach?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I playing Zoro, teach against Zoro is very slow. You almost never get the time. Even if you do get the time, like there are those individual cases where you still have a bit of life left, and okay, in that case, of course, if he drops 9 drops, then that is a blessing for us because we can counter that so perfectly, and he just kind of wastes his turn, and then we kind of just kill him. Yeah, but if he doesn't do that, then he'll just kind of ignore it, or he can swing into it twice because it costs more than 7, so he can actually just attach like just go 15, and if we try to block, he'll kill it, which is annoying. And if nothing else, he'll just play Dead Man's Game and remove it and something else. Yeah, so 8 goes face. Of course, we let that through. Not much of a question. 5 face here, we play Shiryu. I don't think there's much to wonder about. First stage. I would personally drop a black hole. The thing is, I would normally drop a vortex, but we already dropped a vortex, and so yeah, so we can't really. So I would probably drop the black hole here. It's not really that useful. Some Zoros play this super annoying 4 cost that can't be removed and rests like a base 6 cost when attacking. Disgusting card, but it's rare, so yeah, you go for the same here, and then you play Shiryu. Very straightforward here. Fortunately, he didn't really play anything last turn. I guess on 3 that's reasonable. Yeah, so this is of course really fortunate. On 5 down, him playing no body at all.
No body, right?
Yeah, makes it a lot easier.
Body and swung 5, just defend it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Bodies are more annoying, and this way we just have... Sure, we take the extra hit life, but Koshiro is mildly annoying, but he doesn't even have like a Zoro that he's protecting, so we don't mind. We don't really have anything big, but we have lots of searchers, so we'll find something. Let's see here. So you go for the mage first. We have 6, so theoretically, if we find the 6 cost Kuzan with stage, we would want to play. We would rather play that first. We can go for the alternative route where we just play Lafitte, Caribou, My Age, but even then we would have an awkward 2 done left. It's It's a possibility. Just being able to sneak in the Caribou onto the board at some point is always really nice. Because he has the Perona, our Lafitte does not eat up a swing, which is kind of unfortunate. Playing my age and finding a 5-cost Kuzan would be pretty neat. It's just kind of awkward because we have nothing we would love to trash. That's why I'm guessing you didn't stage right away, because there's nothing you feel comfortable really fully removing.
Sometimes I do that, like I just do a feed before I do stage. Sometimes I would do that too.
It's understandable, and sometimes it's the right move if you really don't have any good targets. Although the chance is that if you're looking with for 5 things with Lafitte, you're probably not going to pick something you're happy trashing. Although I guess if you find like a Burgess or something. Yeah, I think it's still the right thing to trash one of them, just one of the strongers, and let's see what we get here. Yeah, okay, so we do find the 6 cost, the Kuzan, right? So we could have played him if we had searched this with stage. Probably still grab it. Alternative, I mean, the rest goes to trash anyways. We want to put the Burgess in trash. I don't think we're going to play him raw here. If we could play him with Kuzan, it would be comfortable, but by himself it's kind of slow. Yeah, I think here it's relatively arbitrary.
I was considering taking the Burgess here. I think I might have taken it.
I mean, it's not a horrible choice. We find another anyways. Okay, so there's the Kuzan, nice. So yeah, we playing the Burgess with the Kuzan works out nicely.
I think I was thinking of Burgess with the Caribou there.
Yeah, also solid.
Dead man's game to get rid of it. So.
True. Yeah, but I think the play still here is playing it with Kuzan. Now, you can still, wonder, do you activate it, right, or do you leave it as the Kuzan on board? Now, it's tough, right, because you don't want it to get rested with Queena and just killed or something. You do have the Shiryu blocker, but
Because he's at 4 life, I kind of want to take him down a little bit.
yeah, the free Kuzan swing feels nice, but the problem you have here is he's at 7 now. So if he plays Deadman's Game, rests your Kuzan and Shiryu, and then swings 8 into the Kuzan, it's kind of... the thing is, do you counter out of it? I mean, you have 2 2Ks, but...
I lose 2 cards by an exchange, I draw an extra card, and then I get a Burgess.
And you get the body, so it would probably be worth countering out of it, and he would be spending his turn on it. So yeah, I think it's fine to keep it here. Against Zoro, the 5k swings are a lot nicer than they are against something like the ace. Okay, I mean this is like free as fuck, right?
Okay. When it's like this, you already know that you're kind of in the driver's seat.
Yeah, I mean I think that's the 3rd turn in a row that he just spent swinging, and if you don't know what you're doing, then that can be scary depending on the events he has available. If he has multiple Deadman's Games and restand events, but
that's what he was going for.
yeah, but you're still at 3 here. I mean, you just take this, right? No way around that. And another Koshiro. You don't really have much to worry about. You really would like to get a nice the 6 cost Kuzan, and you want to start having extra Dawn left over for Vortex. You have 8, right? So Kuzan Vortex would be neat if we find it. Nice. Yeah, there's another Vortex. Sadly, that's the last one we're gonna see since we trashed one. Okay. Yeah. So that is the question. So the 6k swing here doesn't really matter much. But one can still argue that Kuzan Caribou is stronger than Kuzan Vortex. We don't have the rested Burgess, so he doesn't have a great target. But do we have a Burgess in the trash at this point? I mean, yeah, we can get one. Yeah. So if he does spend his next turn swinging, we can vortex block, grab another Burgess, and skip his turn. So I think it's better to keep up the Dawn for vortex. It also invites him to use Deadman's Game if he wants to. It's one of those nice situations where Deadman's Game is a strong play for him, but it won't lose us the game, right? So we get rid of his Deadman's Game, and still have like an acceptable board.
So you would leave it up just to bait him into it?
Yeah, and if he doesn't use Deadman's Game, or if he doesn't have it, then we just negate his turn again. We have the Kuzan as a blocker, and okay, so he searches. He must have had a horrible game. He is not finding shit. Okay, so he did see an event. 9 phase. With Vortex, we could do something like negate him and then block with Kuzan for a free block. We wouldn't get the proc, but it would just be free. For the 3, he can either decide to... The thing is here, right? He has the restand event, and he has the extra down open for it. So there's a good chance he just swings 9,000 face here, right? If you have Vortex, you put him to 5, and then if he wants to use his restand event... Yeah, then that would be a full waste. So he would just end up doing nothing with the extra 3 done. I recently had a game like that as well, where he was just swinging 9 with 3 open, and I just vortexed it, and he just passed because he had nothing left to play. There's not really much he can do for 3 done. He already has the Koshiros, so...
I understand why maybe we only need 1 in the game now, because even if you don't use it at the end of the game, just stalling that 1 turn is good enough.
Yeah. Okay, so you double block here. Okay. Makes sense to grab the Kuzan and then another phase. So yeah, here you lose 2 of your blockers and a life. If you had the Vortex, you would lose nothing. Of course, he would have played it differently, but not much differently. You would probably still be able to, yeah. You're still in a fine position, but it could be better. There's one of those questions where it's, do I grab a blocker, do I grab a Burgess, right? With Zoro, it's kind of always the question. But by now, you're definitely playing for Vortex, right? You want to leave 4 down open at the end of every turn, and ideally, you want to just play a 6-cost Kuzan. That's the late game against Zoro is 6-cost Kuzan, 4 down open, right?
Okay, I see.
That lets you deal with potentially a whole turn, and if it also builds up your Burgesses, and they just kind of start swinging at his non-existent board.
In a situation where, let's say, I do have the 6 drop, 4 dawn up, and then they do have, let's say, like a 5 drop Tashigi on board, and then they put dawn on their Zoro, and then they swing to your leader.
Yeah.
Would you block and then negate?
So generally, I would lean towards blocking the Tashigi swing because there's no restand for that. Depends a bit on how low I am and how much he's investing into this. So if he already has, the Tashigi, so he now puts 4 down or something onto Zoro and swings face. If we have 3 life, I probably just take it. He would need to spend multiple events for it to actually be a problem. So yeah, generally the first swing we will take and block the swings of the characters. keep the vortex. If you have a second vortex, either already in hand or you know it's coming up in the next couple of cards, you can consider shutting him down fully that turn to try and negate it. But usually it's fine to take that one hit and block the character. Still activate the Kuzan effect to grab a Burgess without having to use the vortex, because you just having it is a huge pain for him. Okay, let's see, so what do we do here? Yeah, so do we grab a blocker? We have the vortex here. You would probably just play something like
I think I was gonna play Kuzan into
a blocker. Yeah.
go 6.
Yeah, so you grab both Burgess and Shiryu, so you don't really have to
6-9 or 5-9. Kill the Searcher.
I think you can, yeah. I think you don't swing 6 because you might draw, you might actually draw a blocker from the Kuzan.
Yeah.
Okay, you go for the double blocker. I mean, you have Vortex, so it's risky. I mean, he doesn't have a board, right? Which makes this a lot easier. If he has Deadman's
That's
Game,
why I did it.
he rests 1 Dawn and
If he doesn't kill me this turn, I can just go.
yeah.
I just have a fat hand.
Yeah.
If in real life, I would be more motivated to 7 cards.
Yeah, understandable. You can always kind of count 7, 9, 11, 13, kind of see how high he could go if he just had 2Ks. Leaving 2 Dawn open is always scary. You always have to wonder, okay, if he has Deadman's Game, he rests 1 Dawn and probably the War Curie, right? Then he wouldn't have enough swings to kill you, no. He would
Because normally I would just be, if he did have enough swings, then I would definitely be 4 up.
yeah, I mean, it's like the less safe play. You're always just gonna be better off keeping 4 Dawn open for Vortex and playing like the Kuzan to play the Shiryu, right? You draw a card, and you only get 1 blocker, but you have 4 Dawn for the Vortex. In this kind of scenario where you're thinking, okay, even if he does Deadman's Game me and deny the Vortex, he will not have enough Dawn to kill me, and I will be more likely to kill him next turn. So it's an acceptable play, but you should always try and lean towards the having 3 or 4 open. Why did he play Perona? What? Okay.
Searching for
Yeah, I mean, you're considering going for game here, right? So just keeping your board is the reasonable thing to do.
Or it was okay.
Yeah.
If like going for game or
There we go. So yeah, so okay, plays another blocker.
yeah, that's a block.
Yeah, I think you definitely also could have if you're at the point where you're planning to go for game, right? Then the better play would have been to Vortex him and block with Shiryu and use it to KO the Koshiro. You trade a 5k swing for a blocker, so it's obviously worth it.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. Then he gets the negate. If I remember correctly, he's still dead. I mean, going for game. He has the blocker. He has 2 life, right? So you need to get 4 attacks through. You have 5. The Burgesses will go through for sure. Those will be the 2 life. So of your Shiryu, like of your 3-5 base swings you have, and the 6 Dawn, 2 of them need to go through. So you need to hope he can only counter out of one, which is very risky, I think. So yeah, I mean,
Now that I think about it, yeah, because he has a dawn up, so he can easily just use a
one DMG counters this.
yeah.
I mean, he needs. You have 777, right?
And the fact that he didn't play any bodies in the early game kind of shows maybe he doesn't have the bricks in the hand.
Yeah, because he would have played those as bodies.
Because he would have played it. Yeah.
Yeah, even taking this almost feels like he's baiting you to swing with your blockers. Because after this hits, and he swings. Yeah, so he does need to counter out of these two. Countering out of two 7k swings with 8 cards in hand.
Yeah, you're right. This could have easily lost this game.
Yeah.
Even this, like.
Wait, what? He can go to 9. So he had enough counter in hand. He just threw?
Oh. Maybe he thought one of them was no
Or
longer.
wait, no, he
I
did.
lost that game.
Well, actually, maybe not, because he had 4 bricks in hand, right? So it's possible that the last card he got, his last life, was a 2k.
No, because he had all the cards in his hand before he blocked.
Yeah. Oh yeah, true.
Oh no, he blocked the. No, I think his last life
Must
must have been a 2k.
have been a 2k.
He blocked the 10.
Yeah.
I can see how I could have easily lost this game.
Yeah, there were definitely
Have
ways
a lot
along.
of value in the last turn. Yeah, I could have just.
I mean, you could have guaranteed winning for one by using the Shiryu to KO the blocker. Then it would have been over. And alternatively, you could have played more defensively and just not gone for game and used the blockers and Vortex to.
Yeah. And then I could have slowly chipped in this. Burgess, because if I had even had the boards, yeah, I had so much blockers I didn't really need to.
Yeah. Well, it ended up working out, but for games at the regionals and stuff,
Yeah.
for one, your opponent won't make as many mistakes, and you can't just hope that they'll brick as hard as he did in this game.
Yeah.
Fortunately, we are back. I just wanted to give an example of what a game review in a coaching session might look like. In this case, the person decided to show me a game that they won, but I think we saw that even in those, there's a lot of potential for mistakes and a lot of potential to learn from said mistakes. I will be uploading bits from coaching sessions occasionally, just as content and advertisement, so write me if you feel like it, or just enjoy the content.